If you aren't following me on Instagram, go follow me, Grow Brandon Farm. I put a lot of short videos on there. I try to stay away from being like so informative and educational, more or less just showing you what our daily life looks like and our experiments that we do over here. So firsthand experiences, not just, hey, this is what you do and how you do it, okay? It may not always be the right way, but it's our way of doing things. So I hope you guys like what you see. If you do, hit that thumbs up, subscribe to our channel so you'll be in the know on our next project, because we're always doing something. All right, surprise, surprise. I got this big old package. See what's in here. So just to give you the rundown, contacted Keyhole Farms, spoke with a very nice gentleman. So we agreed to collaborate on one of his keyhole gardens, and I'm excited. So this here is Keyhole Farms. It's a keyhole garden in the color gray, and I'm going to put it right here in this spot. It is a 6 foot in diameter garden, and it, to my knowledge, it's about 3 feet tall. So everything I've heard and read and seen, these keyhole gardens are the key to success in Texas, gardening in Texas. So let's see what's in this box and see if I can put it together by myself. Okay. All right. So first thing, it comes with a lot of information. So here's the book. All the lovely information. I've actually seen this book before. My last horticulture meeting, we had a presentation by the woman named Deb, and she went over keyhole gardens. She swears by keyhole gardens, and I couldn't stop thinking about it and decided that's what I want to do. That's another thing I want to do in my garden. I want to implement keyhole gardens to see and experiment with different varieties of garden, different ways of gardening, if you will. All right. Here's my instructions. This is kind of what it's going to look like. Oh man, I'm stoked. I don't think I'll need my knife anymore, although I might if something is banded. All of this paper can be reused in compost or in this keyhole garden. Fancy that. All right. Yeah, those are going to be sharp. So I got my gloves. Got some mulch in my gloves. All right, so I should have 12 panels, 12 big bin curved tubing. So there's my panels. Some more paper for you. My little bins, straight pieces. I'm assuming these are the big bins. Okay, there's my chicken wire. My hoops. That is a ton of zip ties. One of these guys. It'd be like putting together a tent. Except for it's not a tent, it's a garden. So I have all of my pieces laid out. So now we're gonna get the instructions And we're gonna see step number 1. Should be interesting. Give you a little background on keyhole gardening. To my knowledge, on keyhole gardening, the whole concept, you have a 6 foot in diameter bed that's 3 feet tall in the shape of a keyhole, meaning there's like a little sliver cut out where you would like walk in, okay? In the center of that 6 foot diameter is going to be a compartment, if you will, made out of chicken wire or mesh or whatever you decide to use. You can build your own keyhole gardens. There's a ton of different designs on Pinterest. This is just one that I had a personal recommendation for, so I decided to go with this company. Plus it's shippable, so you can go on to keyholefarms.com. The center of the garden is a smaller in diameter circle, cylindrical hole that goes all the way from the bottom to the top, right? So 3 feet tall. And that's where you would throw all of your compost. So your kitchen scraps, let's see, you can throw leaves, you can do grass clippings, everything that you would throw in a normal compost, you can throw in this compost, okay? So it's gonna be smaller. So in my opinion, I would use more of like the kitchen scraps, things like that. Plant clippings, and put all that in your center. That's gonna provide your nutrients for this keyhole garden. The idea is to use less water because it's more of a controlled environment, right? So it's encased in metal, and the idea is to use less water. It also regulates your heat better. So last year we had a pretty big heat wave come through, and it kind of knocked off all of our plants, right? Our tomatoes were not that great. With a keyhole garden, it's supposed to regulate your heat a little bit better. So your plants aren't gonna suffer as much, right? So they're getting the nutrition from the compost. Their moisture level is more regulated. So that's the idea of it working better in Texas, because Texas gets so hot and dry. And much like raised beds, because it's 3 feet tall, you're not bending over and breaking your back trying to seed out your plants or transplant or tend to your garden or weed your garden. It's 3 feet off the ground, therefore you're not bending and stooping. So it's easier if you are like limited on mobility, things like that. All right, got my drill. So it comes with these self-tapping screws, I think is what they're called. Yes, and all the PVC tees, PVC fittings are all pre-drilled. So I think I got this right so far. Hold it together. So this is what I have so far. So I'm guessing this is like, oh, okay, so this is where you would like walk in, right? So this is your keyhole. So I'm gonna be right here. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm telling you, if I can do this, anyone can do this. Just gonna tap that on there. Make sure it's all the way in. Then, makes it easier to drill because you can lay it flat. So there's pre-drilled holes. And you're just going to attach step 3 of the frame. So step 3 is these curvy pieces here. So you're going to attach that into your U shape is what they call it. So this is your U shape. This is where you'll walk into your keyhole garden. And then you want to attach that with one of your straight pieces. That's what they're calling the medium bend. You should have 4 medium bends. All right, pro tip. Get yourself a little mallet and make sure that when you're putting the pipe into the T, that it is all the way in there, that it is securely all the way in there, because if not, you'll miss whenever you go to screw it in and it won't actually attach to your pipe. Okay, so this is what I have so far. I think, all right, so you're just gonna keep working your way around. And I'm finding it's easier if you put the pre-drilled holes on your PVC tees back on the inside. So when you roll it, you've got some pressure behind it, so you can just put your self-tapping screw in. So I'm gonna do a time lapse for the rest of this as I go all the way around and attach it, and then I'll come back on for the next step. That last connection was kind of a doozy. I had to like put some pressure on it to get it to slide down. There's something in my mouth. Okay, so I've got the entire frame built now. Inside the frame, not out. And I will overlap by 2 ridges except one. Generally start at the peak of the wedge with a 2-ridge overlap. Okay, panels. All right, I hope I'm doing this right. It says that they start in a keyhole. So you want to stand your frame up so your keyhole is up. And it's got all these pre-drilled holes. And every panel will overlap by 2 ridges. So I'm assuming, let's see. So I want the tail of the zip tie inside. So it's just going around that post and zip tying like that. So that's the middle. So then I have these, which I'm assuming these holes will line up like that. And that's where that goes in. So I'm just gonna try to work my way around, and I want the dull side in, shiny side out on the panels. And these panels are not metal. They're like a composite material. So they're not super sharp. I'm doing this without gloves. So I'm just gonna keep working my way around here and hope that this is correctamundo. All right, got a lot of zip tying to do. Okay, I've got it completely assembled. You can see here, all of it is put together. All the siding panels are on. All the zip ties are zip tied. All the T-fittings are on. It's all snug and tight. So the next step that I just stepped on is the inside. So this is how it comes, just this rolled up chicken wire. And then it comes with these 3 rings, and you're basically creating a little like cylindrical thing for the inside for all your compost scraps to go into. So that's the next step. Okay, so I'm gonna do this with gloves. I'm assuming one has to go at the top, and one in the middle, one at the bottom. Okay, got my cylinder. As you can see, there's a lot of zip ties in there. Keyhole Farms will equip you with enough zip ties to get this project done. Let me tell you, I got zip ties left over. I do recommend wearing gloves. This chicken wire can get kind of pokey. I attacked my hand yesterday with some hardware cloth. I do have my gloves. So now I'm gonna cut all these little ties off. Whoa! And put this in the inside, and then move on to the next step, which I believe would be filling up the keyhole garden. What I'm gonna do is place this right in the middle. Does it go in the middle or does it go on the keyhole? It goes on the keyhole. So touching the keyhole. So I'm just gonna dig out a little spot for that so it'll sit straight. Alright, so right in here is where she'll sit. The little basket. So it'll be touching the keyhole sides. That's where she sits. Okay, pro tip. As I said before, when I first opened the package, all of this material can go inside your keyhole compost. So basically you want to use whatever you have on hand, cardboard, paper, all the things. Okay, we are losing light fast. And because this is going to be my Saturday, Sunday, and the day that I get all the projects and dinner and house cleaned and all the things, I'm running out of time. So right now I've got the keyhole set up. I put the compost drop container in there. Everything is good to go. So right now I'm filling it, and how I'm filling it is with layers. So I'm starting with my base layer, which is my dirt and my mulch that you can see on the ground. Then I'm putting my layer of the paper, cardboard, and I'm going to wet it as I go. So each layer I'm going to take my garden hose and just wet it, soak it really good. So from here, right now I've got my cardboard in here. So I'm going to do a layer of mulch on top of that, and then I'll do a layer of compost. And like I said, each layer I'm just going to take my garden hose and really soak it. Once I get up to this top piece right here, I'll probably do like a topsoil or a really good compost, add some of my peat moss, vermiculite, perlite, things like that. My good worm compost to get all the good nutrients up top. And then right here, I'll just be adding my garden scraps. So thank you, Keyhole Farms, for being so generous and sending me one of your keyhole gardens to experiment with this year. I'm excited to grow in different styles. So I've got my raised beds, I've got my keyhole garden, I've got my in-ground gardening, I've got the greenhouse I can grow stuff in. So I'm just really excited for this growing season. All right, just want to add to the video, whatever. I know it's been a long day. One thing I am layering with is leaves, because we have a plethora of them, and I collected them a while back, and I'm gonna go ahead and use them. So something else you can do. But thank you guys for hanging out with me. If you want to see more of the keyhole garden and how it does later in the season, keep following for more information. And if you have any questions, just drop it in the comments below. We'll see you later.